Fela Anikulapo Kuti, born Olufala Olusegun Oludodan Ransom Kuti, the 15th of October 1938, 1, the 2nd of August 1997, also famously known as Abami Da, was a Nigerian musician, bandleader, composer, political activist, and Pan-Africanist. He is regarded as the king of Afrobeat, a Nigerian music genre that combines West African music with American funk and jazz. 2. At the height of his popularity, he was referred to as one of Africa's most challenging and charismatic music performers. 3. AllMusic described him as a musical and socio-political voice of international significance. 4. Kuti was the son of Nigerian women's rights activist Funmilayo Ransom Kuti. After early experiences abroad, he and his band Africa 70 featuring drummer and musical director Tony Allen shot to stardom in Nigeria during the 1970s, during which he was an outspoken critic and target of Nigeria's military juntas. 4. In 1970, he founded the Calacuta Republic Commune, which declared itself independent from military rule. The commune was destroyed in a 1978 raid that injured Kuti and his mother. 5. He was jailed by the government of Muhammadu Buhari in 1984, but released after 20 months. He continued to record and perform through the 1980s and 1990s. Since his death in 1997, reissues and compilations of his music have been overseen by his son, Femi Kuti. Early life. Olufala Olusegun Oludodan Ransom Kuti, 6, was born into the Ransom Kuti family, an upper-middle-class Nigerian family, on the 15th of October 1938 in Abeokuta, the modern-day capital of Ogun State, 7, which at the time was a city in the British colony of Nigeria. 8. His mother, Chief Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, was an anti-colonial feminist, and his father, Reverend Israel Oludodan Ransom Kuti, was an Anglican minister, school principal, and the first president of the Nigeria Union of Teachers. 9. Kuti's parents both played active roles in the anti-colonial movement in Nigeria, most notably the Abeokuta Women's Riot, which was led by his mother in 1946. 10. His brothers Biko Ransom Kuti and Aliko Ransom Kuti, both medical doctors, were well known nationally. 5. Kuti is a cousin, 11, to the writer and laureate Wole Soyinka, a Nobel Prize for Literature winner. 12. They are both descendants of Josiah Ransom Kuti, who is Kuti's paternal grandfather and Soyinka's maternal great-grandfather. 13. Kuti attended Abeokuta Grammar School. In 1958, he was sent to London to study medicine but decided to study music instead at the Trinity College of Music, with the trumpet being his preferred instrument. 5. While there, he formed the band Kula Lobitos and played a fusion of jazz and highlife. 14. The ensemble would include members Bayo Martins on drums and Wole Bucknor on piano. 15. In 1960, Kuti married his first wife, Remalikan Remy Taylor, with whom he had 3 children, Femi, Yeni, and Sola. 16. In 1963, Kuti moved back to the newly independent Federation of Nigeria, reformed Kula Lobitos, and trained as a radio producer for the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. He played for some time with Victor Olaiya and his All-Stars. 17. He called his style Afrobeat, a combination of Fuji music, funk, jazz, highlife, salsa, calypso, and traditional Yoruba music. 2. In 1969, Kuti took the band to the United States and spent 10 months in Los Angeles. While there, he discovered the Black Power movement through Sandra Smith, now known as Sandra Isidore or Sandra Akank Isidore. 18. A partisan of the Black Panther Party. This experience heavily influenced his music and political views. 19. He renamed the band Nigeria 70. Soon after, the Immigration and Naturalization Service was tipped off by a promoter that Kuti and his band were in the US without work permits. The band performed a quick recording session in Los Angeles that would later be released as the 69 Los Angeles Sessions. 20. 1970s, after Kuti and his band returned to Nigeria. The group was renamed the Africa 70 as lyrical themes changed from love to social issues. 14. He formed the Calcutta Republic, a commune, recording studio, and home for many people connected to the band, which he later declared independent from the Nigerian state. Kuti set up a nightclub in the Empire Hotel, first named the Afro Spot and later the Africa Shrine, where he both performed regularly and officiated at personalized Yoruba traditional ceremonies in honor of his native ancestral faith. He also changed his name to Anikulapo, meaning, he who carries death in his pouch, with the interpretation, I will be the master of my own destiny and will decide when it is time for death to take me. 5. 21. He stopped using the hyphenated surname Ransom because he considered it a slave name. Citation needed. Kuti's music was popular among the Nigerian public and Africans in general. 22. He decided to sing in Pidgin English so that individuals all over Africa could enjoy his music, where the local languages they speak are diverse and numerous. As popular as Kuti's music had become in Nigeria and elsewhere, it was unpopular with the ruling government, and raids on the Calcutta Republic were frequent. During 1972, Ginger Baker recorded Stradivarius, with Kuti appearing alongside vocalist and guitarist Bobby Tench. 23. Around this time, Kuti became even more involved with the Yoruba religion. 3. In 1977, Kuti and Africa 70 released the album Zombie, which heavily criticized Nigerian soldiers and used the zombie metaphor to describe the Nigerian military's methods. The album was a massive success and infuriated the government, who raided the Calcutta Republic with 1,000 soldiers. During the raid, Kuti was severely beaten, and his elderly mother, the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria, was fatally injured after being thrown from a window. 5. The commune was burnt down, and Kuti's studio, instruments, and master tapes were destroyed. Kuti claimed that he would have been killed had it not been for a commanding officer's intervention as he was being beaten. Kuti's response to the attack was to deliver his mother's coffin to the Dodan barracks in Lagos, General Olusegun Obasanjo's residence, and to write 2 songs, Coffin for Head of State and Unknown Soldier, referencing the official inquiry that claimed an unknown soldier had destroyed the commune. 24. Kuti and his band took up residence in Crossroads Hotel after the shrine had been destroyed along with the commune. In 1978, he married 27 women, many of whom were dancers, composers, and singers with whom he worked. The marriages served not only to mark the anniversary of the attack on the Calcutta Republic but also to protect Kuti and his wives from authorities' false claims that Kuti was kidnapping women. 25. Later, he adopted a rotation system of maintaining 12 simultaneous wives. 26. There were also 2 concerts in the year. The first was in Accra, in which rioting broke out during the song Zombie, which caused Kuti to be banned from entering Ghana. The second was after the Berlin Jazz Festival, when most of Kuti's musicians deserted him due to rumors that he planned to use all of the proceeds to fund his presidential campaign. In 1978, Fela performed at the Berliner Jazztage in Berlin with his band Africa 70. Disappointed by their fees, Tony Allen, the band leader, and almost all the musicians resigned. 27. Since then, baritone player Lekan Animashorn became band leader and Fela created a new group named Egypt 80. In 1979, Kuti formed his political party, which he called Movement of the People MOP, to clean up society like a mop, 5, but it quickly became inactive due to his confrontations with the government of the day. Mop preached Nkrumahism and Africanism. 1980s and beyond. 2 of Kuti's sons are musicians, Femi and Son. In 1980, Fela signed an exclusive management with French producer Martin Meissonier, who secured a record deal with Arista Records London through A.R. Tarquin Gotch. The first album came out in February 1981 under the title of Black President with the track ITT, and on the B-side Colonial Mentality and an edited version of Sorrow, Tears and Blood. These 2 tracks recorded with Africa 70 and Tony Allen were unreleased in Europe. 30. Following the release, Fela performed his first European tour, 4 concerts in a week with a suite of 70 people. The tour starting in Paris on March 15, 1981, with a huge crowd estimated at 10,000 people. 31. Then Brussels, Wien and Strasbourg. Black President was followed by another album was recorded in Paris in July 1981, original Sufferhead, 32, with Power Show on the B-side. Fela also recorded the track Perambulator in Paris. Arista gave his back freedom to Fela at the end of 1981. 33. French filmmaker Jean-Jacques Flory came to Lagos early 1982 to direct the now classic film Music is a Weapon. The film was broadcast first on Antenne 2 French TV in 1982. The film producer Stéphane Chougulgif didn't like the film and decided to re-edit it for an international release. 34. VIP. Vagabonds in Power and Authority Stealing were released in 1980, with the former being a live performance done in Berlin, West Germany. In 1983, Kuti nominated himself for President 5 in Nigeria's first elections in decades. But his candidature was refused. At this time, Kuti created a new band, Egypt 80, which reflected the view that Egyptian civilization, knowledge, philosophy, mathematics, and religious systems are African and must be claimed as such. Kuti stated in an interview, stressing the point that I have to make Africans aware of the fact that Egyptian civilization belongs to the African. So that was the reason why I changed the name of my band to Egypt 80. 35. Kuti continued to record albums and tour the country. He further infuriated the political establishment by implicating ITT Corporation's vice president, Masoud Abiola, and Obasanjo in the popular 25-minute political screed entitled I.T.T. International Thief. 5. In 1984, Muhammadu Buhari's government, of which Kuti was a vocal opponent, jailed him on a charge of currency smuggling. Amnesty International and others denounced the charges as politically motivated. 36. Amnesty designated him a prisoner of conscience. 37. And other human rights groups also took up his case. After 20 months, General Ibrahim Babangida released him from prison. On his release, Kuti divorced his 12 remaining wives, citing marriage brings jealousy and selfishness since his wives would regularly compete for superiority. 26, 38. Kuti continued to release albums with Egypt 80 and toured in the United States and Europe while continuing to be politically active. In 1986, he performed in Giant Stadium in New Jersey as part of Amnesty International's A Conspiracy of Hope concert along with Bono, Carlos Santana, and the Neville Brothers. In 1989, Kuti and Egypt 80 released the anti-apartheid album Beasts of No Nation that depicted US President Ronald Reagan, UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, and South African State President Peter Willem Botha on its cover. The title of the composition evolved out of a statement by Botha: "This uprising, against the apartheid system, will bring out the beast in us." 5. Kuti's album output slowed in the 1990s. And eventually, he ceased releasing albums altogether. On the 21st of January 1993, 39, he and 4 members of Africa 70 were arrested and were later charged on the 25th of January for the murder of an electrician. 40. Rumors also speculated that he was suffering from an illness for which he was refusing treatment. However, there had been no confirmed statement from Kuti about this speculation. Death. On the 3rd of August 1997, Kuti's brother Alikoy Ransom Kuti, already a prominent AIDS activist and former Minister of Health, announced that Kuti had died on the previous day from complications related to AIDS. Kuti had been an AIDS denialist, 41, and his widow maintained that he did not die of AIDS, 42. 43. His youngest son Son took the role of leading Kuti's former band Egypt 80. As of 2022, the band is still active, releasing music under the moniker Son Kuti Egypt.